This episode of Star Wars Republic is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast. Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Star Wars Republic, our Obi Wan Kenobi Part 4 review. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burly Gaming on Twitch. Hey Burly, how you doing, man? Hey.
I'm okay. The
Yeah.
of going back into the office and commuting.
Just use,
bad.
Just get in one of those ships and go like, light speed. Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this is a spoiler review of Obi Wan Kenobi Part 4. So if you have not watched the episode yet, please go and watch the episode and then come back and watch our video here. So that is your warning, your spoiler warning for this episode. We're going to be talking spoilers throughout the episode. So in this review episode. So anyway, let's get to it. So Burly, man, yeah, you were right, man. We were going to see Obi-Wan in a Bacta tank.
Yeah, but that was no shock. That was the easiest prediction to make.
Yeah. You knew he was going to be put into a Bacta tank. So, so he's basically, in this Bacta tank on Jabeam, because they get him to Jabeam. But before that, it's interesting how he's having those flashbacks to the battle he had with Vader in the previous part. And of course, and then Vader himself, Anakin in the Bacta tank, so they're in like these separate Bacta tanks, and they're just like, they're just like grimacing and everything.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that, man?
I liked it. You knew they were going to cut back to him and to both him and Vader in the BAFTA tank. That was a safe thing. I did like how the cuts. I thought the cuts were really well for that.
Yeah. So for, of course, all of you that are watching in video format, obviously, this is the image of Obi-Wan in the Bacta tank. So get your first shot of him in a Bacta tank. So it's like every Star Wars series that comes out on Disney Plus now, there's going to be a character in a Bacta tank.
Yeah,
because you had like Boba Fett in the Bacta tank in almost every episode. And now you have Obi-Wan, of course, you have Vader, he's always in the Bacta tank and everything. But so it was interesting how, of course, then he gets out of the Bacta tank and he, Tala tells him that, obviously that they couldn't save, Leia, because he's asking where Leia is and everything. And so they get to a point where it's like they have to come up with some kind of plan to rescue her. So they're on Jabeam, and there's this fortress. It's interesting what it's the Fortress Inquisitorius. Yes, which is on the moon of Nur in the Mustafar system, of course, and we've seen images of it and obviously ships going to it throughout the series so far. But anyway, they have to infiltrate this this place on Nur to be able to get Leia, because obviously that's where Reva had taken Leia. So they're talking, and so they talk to this guy named Roken, of course, and he talks about his wife supposedly was a Jedi, because Obi-Wan was telling him, you don't know the situation, and obviously he did know the situation, and what's going on, and how she was taken away by the Inquisitors and everything. But what did you think of these plans that they were talking about in the episode?
I like they're just trying all these plans, and you can just see Obi like talking all the things, and Obi-Wan is just like he's just like
Mm-hmm.
just basically he's like just tell me where she is, get me there, and how am I gonna get in? Then like
Yeah,
he just wanted the simple here you go in here. She's probably on this floor of the ship and just get in.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting how they talked about the Obi-Wan talks about getting in with the T-47 starfighters, and these T-47
Mhm.
starfighters, and you see them later in the episode. They're from, of course, The Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, they used them on Hoth, of
Yeah.
course, in the battle of on Hoth against the against
No.
the big
The
Imperial
ATT
walkers. Yeah, so
the AT-AT walkers. Yeah.
AT-AT walkers. Yeah, exactly. So with the cables and all. But anyway, so anyway, they talk about this, and of course, they agree to it and to go on. And I have to say that
Mm.
Tala, I mean, she's a really interesting character, and I'm really liking her throughout this series so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, I'm, you know, the her character, she's just got guts, and we're going to talk about it later. I mean, how she, carries herself, in the episodes and everything. So yeah, Indira Varma, she's a great actress. So
She's awesome.
yeah, of course, she was in Game of Thrones. Of course, she was Illyria Sand. You know, and yeah, we know what happens to her in Game of Thrones, but anyway, so
Yeah.
hopefully it's not the same fate in Obi Wan Kenobi. But yeah, she's a great actress, and yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. She was in a series called Rome on HBO back in like
What?
the late 2000s. So yeah, she's been around. She's a great actress, and she's playing her role as Tala, being kind of this spy, dressed
Mhm.
up as a spy and all. It's really cool and all. So anyway, we get to the interrogation scene with Reva and Leia. And Leia, I mean, she seems to hold her own,
Oh yeah.
but what this is where the episode gets kind of iffy for me, or the part 4, is that why doesn't Reva realize that she's force sensitive? I just don't
Uh,
get that. I mean, you would think that she would be able to figure out that, here we go again. I'm going to say it
mm,
now, Burly. The midi chlorians, from Anakin that are in her body. Obviously, she's got the Force in there somewhere. She just obviously
mhm,
she doesn't know it, and she doesn't know how to use it. Kind of like in Episode 7 with Rey. You know, when she's being interrogated by Kylo Ren,
mhm,
she doesn't realize it, but you would think, and she's probing her and all. Reva's actually trying to look into her mind and everything to try to get
mhm.
information. Why couldn't she figure out that she's force sensitive? What do you think?
Uh, do you want the real answer or the bullshit answer first?
Whatever you want, man. Whatever you
Um,
fancy.
the um, it's more just they don't want they're you could go the hypo nerd thing of well she hasn't awakened her force sensitivity, the midichlorians have not activated and all this jazz.
Yeah.
Realistically, it's just because you can't really do a hint that she's force sensitive now, because if you do, then it's going to be like, why didn't she use anything in 4? Why didn't Vader find out in episode 4 when
Okay.
he had her and all that
Okay.
this and that?
Yeah.
It's just a thing like that they're trying to
Yeah.
do. But I did like the interrogation,
Yeah.
and that just her trying every which way
Yeah, and
with Leia.
obviously here the image of the slab that from the previous episode on the wall of the Jedi, the Jedi logo here, that
Mm,
she slams on the table at her, you know. And of course, in the interrogation, she's trying to tell Leia that, of course, they found, two different, safe houses, and that she needs to tell her where they are. And of course, she doesn't really know. And I think
oh
she's telling
no.
her the truth. She doesn't know where the hell these places are. But yeah. So but yeah, I mean this episode really had episode 4 vibes to it. I mean, it's
Oh,
basically like copy and paste. Okay, we're not on the Death Star, but we're on Nur, and we're in this the Inquisitorious place, and we can make it look like a Death Star on the inside, and of course Obi Wan running around in there and stuff. And we're gonna get to that part, but yeah, this whole episode was kind of like a New Hope type of vibes. You know,
yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
instead of Leia being 20 years old or so, she's only 10. You know, so, but
Yeah.
so anyway, we get into the facility, and of course, Obi Wan is running around in there, and then of course Tala, she's playing her part as the Imperial officer, and it's really funny how she goes up and she just lets that one other guy, the
Oh,
lower
the
ranking guy,
security
the
officer.
security officer, have it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really cool. Yeah,
But I did like as they were getting to this with Obi-Wan trying to get as they're on their way to get into on the ship.
yeah,
You got Obi-Wan trying to do some Force stuff, and she's like, "You're just out of practice,"
yeah,
and trying to relax him because he is so like right now he is so deathly afraid because his connection is so shaky, and he
yeah,
knows Anakin's alive,
yeah,
and he knows he got very lucky on that encounter. If
yeah,
he gets one more encounter, he's scared because
yeah,
what are the odds? Like we know as people, the odds are he'll survive,
yeah,
but
yeah,
they got to keep the tension for the show, for writing and all that.
yeah.
So
Well,
he's
I
like,
well, I love that line, and I have the image here where he says, just some things can't be forgotten. So
yeah,
obviously he's thinking of Leia because he wants to save her, but then again, obviously, the situation with Anakin, and the
mhm,
haunting of that previous episode fight with
yeah,
Vader, and seeing what Anakin has become. So, but yeah, I mean, like going through these corridors and everything, and then you have the black probe droid there going around, like a security droid and everything. So it's like he's able to get past it, you know. But the juxt of this episode, though, he gets into the section where there's just the tombs of all of these other
mhm,
Jedi. So it's
yeah,
basically this whole facility is kind of like almost like a wax museum in a sense, of tombs
yeah,
of and one of them, we don't see it in this image, but there's another image. I don't have it with me here, but there's one Jedi that was in it. It was kind of one of the tall ones, and
mhm,
basically that was Tara Sinub. And Tara Sinub, of course, was on the Jedi Council in the prequel series, and
mhm,
obviously, like in the animated series, like in the Clone Wars, he was also kind of a mentor and a helper to Ahsoka Tano as well. We don't see that, but it's one of the first Jedi's that Obi-Wan sees as he's going through this corridor. It's kind of a tall, with a kind of really long ears, kind of a doggish looking face. Uh, yeah, so that was Tara Sinub, and yeah, I mean, but you see a bunch, and you even see a youngling, that's just
mhm,
in that, like it looks like just a pile of tree
mhm,
sap that
yeah,
these Jedi, dead Jedi, have been just preserved in. So that was kind of a horrifying moment, I could say,
oh
for
yeah,
the episode. What did you think of these scenes, Burley?
yeah. This was horrifying. He just sees how many that they have found, and
Yeah.
that they're just keeping like trophies. Like it's basically like I don't know if you've seen I forget what I think it was Predator 2 where
Okay.
he has the
Yeah.
trophy room, and
Right.
one of the Easter eggs I think is the xenomorph skull, and
Yeah.
it's got all the different skulls of like all the different creatures and stuff. It's
Yeah.
kind of like that,
Yeah.
and for this, you've just got so many Jedi. You got the young kid. I think there may have been another kid in there,
Right.
but you just see how many, and he realized it's more and more just hitting it home. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are pretty much gone. Like the only one he knows that is still could be alive is Yoda.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And then we get to the scene, of course, where he's fighting, the stormtroopers and everything, and he's starting to get his form back a little bit with the lightsaber,
Mm-hmm.
and he's bouncing the blaster shots back at them, and
Deflecting them, yeah.
deflecting them, and hitting some of them, and hitting the security droid and everything, and then one, of course, deflects and hits the window, and it starts to
Mm-hmm.
crack the window, obviously. And then this is another part of the episode where I just don't understand, the environmental situation. Of course, when Leia yells to him, the window, and it starts cracking. Then he starts to use the Force to hold it, and
Mm-hmm.
then these stormtroopers finally get through the doors, and then he, uses the Force to destroy the window and just take out these
Yeah.
troopers with the water and everything. But why doesn't he get submerged with it too? He just luckily by chance gets out through the door as Tala is closing it.
Yeah,
Just
well, it's
yeah.
called a thing called plot armor.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just that was like, okay, by chance he survives. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, you see him starting to get his form back a little bit, with the
yeah.
lightsaber and all, taking out these stormtroopers and all. But in the meantime, obviously that situation with Reva comes in and interrogates Tala. I mean, Tala just
Mm-hmm.
holding her own, against her, even though Reva's starting to figure out that she's
She's
BSing her, and yeah,
oh
she's
yeah.
a spy, you know. But just at the right moment, of course, the alarms go off, and
Mm-hmm.
so she's able to help Obi-Wan in this point, and then she gets to him, when the water comes through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, but yeah, and then of course you have the fight at the end there where the
Mm-hmm.
T-47s are coming in, and one lands to pick them up, and then the other is like fighting Reva, just blasting at her.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and then just before that, though, as they're walking through the corridor with everybody as they're doing the lockdown, it's like the fifth brother and the other Inquisitor
Mm-hmm.
are walking, and they just walk right past Obi-Wan and Tala.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, don't you think don't you think they would have like some kind of force sense to be able to, there's a Jedi in here, it's
And
you
he's been
just,
using his abilities, so it's not like he's
I
been,
know.
stealthily not using anything. He's been using
Yeah,
all that.
that's the thing I just don't like about this series so far. As just another little nitpick is this fifth brother guy, the fifth
Mm-hmm.
brother. He has not used his lightsaber once in the
No.
entire series. I mean, so far it's only been like smirks and and it's like, he just loving the fact that he wants to be the next Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, and then him and the other girl, Inquisitor female just walking right past, and just it's like,
Well, they're just fighting over. I want to be Vader's favorite. I want to be Vader's favorite. They're
yeah,
acting like little freaking brats.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that is just poor writing and all that. It's like, you should be able to
yeah,
sense, but like at the same time, they know if they have him discover Obi-Wan,
yeah,
the condition Obi-Wan is in, unless this fifth brother is absolutely useless,
yeah,
which I'm because as you said, we haven't seen him use his lightsaber, have him really do anything
yeah,
other than just scowl and talk.
yeah,
That like he's got to be pretty useless
yeah, yeah,
because or like he should be able to, if he's at least decently trained in the state Obi-Wan's in,
yeah,
probably beat Obi-Wan. But you can't
yeah, yeah,
have Obi-Wan be beaten or die.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, obviously, and so of course they're able to escape, but of course Reva, obviously, she uses the Force to throw what looks, I guess it was like a bomb or something, to hit the one T-47, with the other
mhm.
pilot in it, and it blows him up, and he dies. And so then they get back to the transport ship, and then Tala says, you're soldiers now, you know,
Yep.
so to them, and then just later, then Vader comes back in, and then he just picks up Reva, like a little rag doll, in the air. And it's like he could have just snapped her neck, just boop, I mean, but then she says, "Oh, I let them go. I have the tracking device on them." And then he's like, "Oh, I've underestimated you." I mean, that quickly he says that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He told her basically, "You found me. You're gonna wish for a quick death." So he's going to
Yeah.
torture the hell out of her, right?
Yeah.
And she saved her ass by saying she has tracking. I put a
Yeah.
tracker on them, and he's like, "Okay, I'll
Yeah.
let this play out. You don't have this, and you're
Yeah.
lying to me. You're dead." Like,
Yeah. It's like,
is
yeah.
is basically is what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then, of course, it disappoints the fifth brother, the Scowler, we should call him, that's, yeah, because he was smiling when she was up in the air getting choked to death, and then, of course, Vader lets her go, and, it's like, yeah, I've underestimated you, and then, he's like disappointed, again,
See, I don't know why he doesn't also turn his attention to the fifth brother and be like, "Okay, well, this was going down. Why didn't you help? Why didn't
yeah,
you do something?" Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like I know the whole Inquisitors. This show has just shown you, like, unlike Jedi Fallen Order, where they were helping each other.
yeah,
The ones we saw, these ones are like, I will betray you and screw you over to get better favor with Vader.
right,
I'm surprised Vader's gonna be like to both of them and be like, if you guys don't work together and get shit done,
yeah.
you're both dead. Like, I don't care. She screws up, you're dead, fifth brother. If you screw up, fifth brother, you're dead, third
Yeah.
sister. Like,
I think that's probably how it's going to end. I mean, he's
well,
probably going to kill most of them. Yeah.
these guys are gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's just
Yeah.
whether how they die. Like,
Yeah.
do we have fifth brother killing third sister killing fifth brother, and then dying to Vader?
Or do we have the Grand Inquisitor that might not be dead? Does he come back and kill Reva and the others, and then Vader kills him? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, what's going to
Yeah.
happen here? But so let's get to the end of the episode, Burly. So anyway, of course, Reva obviously says that she has like a tracking device
Mm-hmm.
on the ship. So of course we don't know what this tracking device is, obviously,
But
until we see, of course, uh,
mm,
Lola here, which of course Leia's, of course, little pet droid.
yeah,
And obviously at the end there, you don't see it in this image here, but of course the eyes turn red,
yeah.
obviously. And so that's the tracking device now. So you got to figure, you wonder, because that's where the episode ends, but you got to wonder, where are they going now? Are they going back to that base, or are they going to take Leia directly to Alderaan? I mean, that's
We
my
we we,
question.
we
Yeah.
they're gonna take her to some base right now.
Yeah.
My prediction, and then the last episode, because there's like one more episode after the next.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll get her to Alderaan that episode, and Obi-Wan go back to Tatooine that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
So they've got one more episode of off-worlding on other
Yeah.
worlds, and they're going to get rid of Lola, remove the tracking.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering. So you're saying that they're going to go back to Tatooine in episode 6 in the last episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Leia will go back maybe next episode or whatever. So
I think if it's not the tail end of 5, it'll be early on 6,
yeah.
because they're gonna do a little bit more on Tatooine. I imagine.
Yeah.
They're not gonna just have him go on the last 5 minutes
Yeah.
and be like, I'm there. They're watching the boy.
Yeah, I think they're going to figure out what this tracking device is before they get to Alderaan, because obviously, Senator Organa, he's in Rogue One,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and Rogue One takes place, after this.
Yeah.
So, another 10 years later. So, that Senator Organa is still around. He's still a senator. So, he's with the rebellion now. So he's not going to be killed or anything, or so Alderaan is going to be spared for the moment, I think. So yeah,
he may lose his wife, because we know nothing if she survived.
Who knows? We don't know. Yeah, we don't know that. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, a lot of questions. I mean, we shall see what happens as it goes on. But yeah, I think I think these Inquisitors are going to be by the end of this season, most of them, if not all of them, are going to be wiped out, either by
Oh yeah.
Vader or Kenobi's going to be able to kill a couple of them or whatever. But and then there's now these rumors that they're talking about a spin-off series for Reva. Now, like it's going around on Twitter and all, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
how do people know that even she's going to be alive at the end of episode 6 when the season ends? I mean, it's like, come on, man. And so
It's just because.
I threw on Twitter. I threw a joke onto Twitter today. I put there's a spinoff series for Watto.
Hey, I'd watch that over Picard.
Yeah.
You saw my
Well, we're
response.
not talking about Star Trek here. That's saved
Yeah,
for
I
War
know.
Factor 10. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's just, who knows, man. We don't even know if she's going to survive, you know.
No.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of questions still need to be answered, and yeah, looking forward to part 5 next Wednesday. So of course we will be, doing a review episode for you, obviously here on Star Wars Republic. So for my co-host Burly of Burlyman Gaming, I've been your host Expat, and we hope to catch you in the next episode of Star Wars Republic, our Obi Wan Kenobi review series. So take care, everyone, and
Take
we
care,
hope to
everyone.
catch you in the next one. All right, peace out.
Long live Vader.